Ritu, a very, very good morning. How are you doing today? Welcome to AIM Media House's podcast show.
Thank you. Thank you, Korak. Doing very well. And not a very bright day here in Delhi, but mood is good. It's Friday.
It's Friday, exactly. So the weekend is just about to come.
Absolutely.
From all the research I have done, the work culture at ZS that I have got to know of seems to be pretty fun. Right at the start, I want to get to know your journey a little bit. So, if in short, you can tell us and our viewers how was the initial journey like, how was the journey as a student like, and how did the career kickstart?
My journey is not all ZS. I joined ZS at a much senior level. But for me, I have worked across market research, got into analytics very early on, worked with some international American companies, and then joined Z. Took a break, took a family break, had kids, good long 4 to 5 year break, and was very lucky to join ZS after a career break. And I think that speaks volumes of ZS's culture as well. To take on somebody who's had a long maternity break. And that's when I joined ZS about 9 years ago, and have had some great, roles at ZS over the 9 years.
There's loads in the industry that ZS has done, but if you have to explain to a non-industry person in simple words, what is ZS and what does it do?
So ZS helps solve business problems for their clients. So sales and marketing problem, and finds takes data, finds insights from data, and converts those into actions that you can take to improve your marketing and improve your sales.
Your journey at ZS, it's been nearly a decade now, starting from manager of business consulting to manager of business operations to now associate principal. So if you can tell us, and for this answer, we don't want you to be brief at all. How has this decade-long journey at ZS been like?
So, interesting. For most of my decade-long journey at ZS, I have worked primarily with the same client. And one would think that, have you even got too many opportunities or different variety working at the same client? It's been phenomenal. I have every 2 years, my role has evolved, things have changed. I have had the opportunity to work across geographies, starting from Asia, Europe, US, done global roles, as well as along the way, worked on different types of analytics. And while I was continuing to work with the same client, I did, of course, try out a couple of different things. So I also worked in a what we call the practice area. So getting deep into expertise, I worked for a team that led a team that was focused on building tools for our clients. And so all of this was more analytics consulting work. Another area that I have spent a lot of my time and mind share is a passion very close to my heart, is helping women build successful career at ZS. I have been part of Women at ZS all throughout my career at ZS, and also led the India chapter for a couple of years, and been part of the first batch of the Path to Principal program that ZS launched for its senior leaders, and I have benefited immensely from that.
This is the second chat that somebody from AIM is doing with ZS. And for chats like these, for podcasts like these, we always do a lot of research. And even when we reached out to other employees at ZS, we heard great, great things about the culture that is there, not just in the workplace physically, but even when you go there to work, you imbibe that culture. That is something that unanimously I heard of, the team heard of. So if you can tell us a little about what is this culture like at ZS that all the employees keep talking about?
No, I think the best thing about the ZS culture is that it is so close to your personal values. So anybody, yours, mine, employees, and that's the reason why they find it so relatable. All the aspects of our culture are very close to any normal person's personal values, right? So, for example, for me, if I were to talk about, things that very closely relate to the personal values would be, being true to yourself, following your passion, being fair and empathetic to the people around you. These are the kind of things, personally, I relate to, and that's how I lead my life. And then when I equate it to the ZS values, I can see so much similarity, in trust, empowerment, growth. And one thing that you will hear everybody talk about, and just because I mentioned last, it's not the least, is collaboration, which has helped me grow at ZS, and helps most people, and that's the first thing they will come up with as well.
You said that there are multiple of these policies which are there to help all employees, gender no bar. But I
Yes.
would specifically also like to ask about some of the policies that are there to make the workplace environment safer for women, more friendlier for them, ensuring they don't have to leave the job, say, after a pregnancy. So tell us a little about some of those policies.
So we have a lot of focus and good policies around returning mothers. So apart from, of course, as the government mandates, and of course, ZS has being an people friendly workplace, has adopted all the required maternity and paternity benefits. So anybody who is wanting to start a family, women, of course, get their maternity break as per the policies, but even the men get paternity break. I think it's about 6 to 12 weeks that even men get, and a lot of the men actually take the leave also. And I think which is very, very speaks volumes about the workforce, that if they do that for their families, then that's the same support that they bring to the women in their teams. Then we have the returning mothers program, where once the women is coming back, rejoining the workforce, there's a lot of handholding, there's a lot of support provided in helping them find the right work, right project, which suits their needs. So if they want to come back full on because they have enough support and ecosystem back at home for taking care, they we can find them the right project that way. But if they want to take it easy and do slightly less workload projects for a couple of months, that option is also there. So we just work with the women, both from an HR perspective, from a project team perspective. They collaborate and work with the women to help them settle back once they come back.
My next question is a policy that helps all employees, gender no bar. I'm not sure about the name that the policy has been given, but if I'm not wrong, there's a support person that every employee gets from day one of joining, and that support person stays till the time that employee is there. This is very fascinating. I've not heard about this in a lot of other organizations. If you can tell me a little about this.
That's your PD coach.
And a full form of that would be?
And that is personal development coach.
Coach, lovely, lovely.
So there is a coach that is attached to you right from the time you join to the time, you as long as you're there in the company. And the beauty of it is that it is not just one person, individual that you are attached to throughout your journey at ZS. You initially, as you join, you are assigned somebody because you are new to the organization. You may not be able to navigate and find the right coach for yourself. So the first 2 years, you are assigned a coach. And then as you grow in the organization, you can choose who your coach will be.
Oh, wow.
So you can choose from among the business leaders whom you want to be coached by. And the role of the coach is just to guide you. They are only there to ask the right questions, to understand to help you think through your goals, what kind of a path you want, what is your personal situation, and therefore, how do you want to navigate or build a career at ZS? And they give you guidance on, what are different ways you can go about it. So it's not somebody, who's sort of giving you a laid out plan to say, okay, this is the path that you should follow. So that's the beauty of the PD coaching system, is that you chart your own journey. Somebody is there to just guide you, nudge you, show you the different options.
This is actually so fascinating, because when I look back at the start of my career, job right after college, and it's a major difference, because 3 years I started working right after graduation. So I was in school, and then graduation for 3 years, and then a different city and working. So I was a school student 3 years back, and then
Yeah.
3 years later, I was in a different city, paying the bills, starting to work, and not very friendly of a first work experience. But from what it sounds like, from what you said, and from what I've seen and heard from other employees as well, I think it's very, very friendly for even youngsters who are joining the company, is it not?
Yes, absolutely. And the beauty is that with the young with the new joiners, you have like even a cohort. So you not only get a PD coach, but one coach who will be the coach for maybe 10 other people. So therefore, you can even have these sessions together, so that it's sometimes it's much easier if you are hesitant to ask a question, because other people in the group will ask the question, and then you will also get the guidance, and you may not think through all the questions also.
Right.
So that is very, very helpful. And then of course, we have the buddy system as well for the new joiners. So when you join in, there is an existing employee of a not a very different tenure, maybe a year or two older, who's attached to you from your project team, who's like your buddy, who helps you navigate the other aspects of office culture. How you dress up, how you carry yourself, what are the working hours, what is how do you make the transition from a college life to a corporate life, how do you feel comfortable asking questions, learning, the do's and don'ts, even small things like where is the cafeteria and what are the options of eating and how do I manage, find a place to stay. So yeah, it's quite easy, and lots of support options for the youngsters.
You mentioned leaders while we were talking about the program as well. So, how has your leadership journey at ZS been like? You started off in a position which was quite up there in the hierarchical level already. You
Yeah.
moved up and then you moved up again. 10 years. How has your leadership journey at ZS been like?
So it's been fantastic. Like I talked about my experience, I have had a lot of experience. And I think what makes this journey even better is the fact that you have so many leaders that you can reach out to for advice and for guide. Because I truly believe, I'm a mother, so you would have also heard this a lot, is that it takes a village to bring up a child. And I truly believe that it takes a community to build a leader as well. And that's exactly the principle that I have followed. So in my journey at ZS, having joined at a senior level, I did not hesitate to reach out to different leaders at different points in time, get different perspectives. And all of those perspectives have been very helpful in different parts of my journey at ZS. Because for each one of us, while there is a path in terms of you go from level A to B to C to D. That's the hierarchy, that or that's how you will rise up the organization ladder. But then everybody's journey is their own unique journey, because I have my own personal goals, my own professional goals. I have personal choices that I have to navigate, and therefore it's very helpful to get these different perspectives and then chart your own journey. As you join in, you get a coach, you get a guide, but don't hesitate to reach out to people and always take guidance as you go along.
When you started off, I'm sure you got a PD coach as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love. So if you can tell us about some of the leaders, or say your PD coach, somebody who majorly impacted your journey at ZS. If you can, in short, if you remember some of them, if some of them are still there or some of them have left, but if one or two names that come to your mind.
Yeah, no, there are so many people. Right from early days, I had principals, D. Sahai, Sandra, my current PD coach, Apurva, Mohit Sood. He's not been my PD coach, but I keep reaching out to him. My project principals through my journey, be it Prabhu Devarajan, Manu Tyagi, Nisha Gilra. So there have been lots of people that I have reached out and benefited from.
That's great to hear, Ritu. I want to ask you, because it's been such a long journey at ZS for you. So if one or two examples, one or two experiences that happened for you in the journey, which really stand out during your 10-year journey at ZS, then what would that be?
So for me, because I joined at a much senior level, right? And therefore, coming in from outside and getting embedded into a new culture, new organization, to find how to navigate your way around. One experience that stands out for me is that, when I joined, I had wonderful male colleagues, couple of them who were, some of them part of my project, some of them adjacent, but who took the time and the energy to include me in their grouping, into their inner circle, if you will, right? So they would, simple things like they would take me, call me out when they're going for lunch or for, post lunch walks. And all these casual conversations sort of help you to understand the cultures and the nuances of the organization, which not always are written out or you learn through a project, right? Or through interaction. So I think this taking, budding up somebody and just taking them in the fold into the inner circle, just inclusivity is what really stands out for me in the way that these guys help me to integrate so well into ZS.
In the long journey that has been up until for you now at ZS, from a technical standpoint, what has been one or maybe multiple some of the things that you are most proud of when it comes to your 10-year journey at ZS till now?
So there've been multiple projects, of course. So what I would say is that the common theme across the projects that are very close to my heart has been that we built something cutting edge for the client, something even at times being first time at ZS. And that's the beauty at ZS, I would say, is that you have the access to the latest in analytics and technology, be it through your learning platforms or be it even, access to the people who are actually working on these cutting edge pieces. For example, Gen AI is really big at ZS. We've had about thousands of employees who have taken training in Gen AI. And almost every day, I would say that, there is somebody somewhere across the world who's taking a solution to their clients.
Ritu, so at AIM Media House, of course, it's the biggest artificial intelligence conglomerate, one of the biggest ones in the country, one of the biggest ones in the world. So I want to ask you, at what point of time did you all who were right up there in the hierarchical level of ZS realize that AI is something which is going to change the world and then incorporate that in workaday culture at ZS? And hence, so many of the Gen AI training started as well. So at one point did that happen?
So if you really asked at what point did they realize, I would say it was 10 years ago or even more.
Oh, wow.
So our current CEO, he has always been a proponent of AI. That's the subject that he has graduated in, and he has always been for it. But of course, the computing power and the algorithms did not support us doing us what we can do today. 10 years back. So it's always been there. It's always been there at the forefront for ZS. Of course, I would say, at least a couple of years back that we started investing and leveraging all the advancements that have been happening. And therefore, today where we are is possible because we actually have very effective and very powerful tools and platforms which are domain specific. Our Max.ai alter ego tools are built with the domain knowledge of pharma, non-healthcare that we have, so that the tools are pretty much plug and play for the clients to go, rather than having to spend a lot of time and energy into setting up, because in AI, it takes a lot of time to contextualize things before your outputs can be usable.
Ritu, we're almost towards the end of the podcast. I want to ask you a couple of more questions. What is the vision for ZS right now, both in a short-term level and in a long-term future level? And you can give me this answer with two perspectives. One, of course, the work that is being done, keeping the clients in mind, keeping the services in mind, and the other being the employees in mind. Because ZS, as I have seen and I've heard from you and all the other employees as well, it's an organization that thinks about the employees a lot, which is great. It's almost an example for other organizations. So the two visions, one from the work standpoint as well, and another from the employee standpoint as well.
So from a work perspective, I think, like I said, our vision is to help our clients with their business problems. And while we are very heavily focused on, have a lot of our focus and expertise is on pharma, and so we will continue to sort of grow that and focus on that and build upon that and expand that into newer with newer technology like Gen AI. But we do want to also grow into the non-healthcare space that has been doing very well for us. So in the short term, is to grow both of these, and in the longer term is always a larger vision is to stay ahead of the curve, right? To keep looking what's around the corner for our clients that we are servicing across industries, and have the solutions and the tools for them ahead of what the latest is out there and what the how the market is evolving. When it comes to employees, you've read up and you've talked so much about culture. So I think our culture and our values is our bedrock, and that isn't going anywhere. And I think whatever we do, our only focus and the main focus is that we continue to maintain and inculcate this culture and values in all our employees as we grow, because that is in itself is a big task. We've now grown into a 10,000 plus employees company.
That's across the world, right?
Yes. And to ensure that everybody follows the same culture, ethos, and values, it's not a small task. So that will continue to be our focus, our culture, our values, because that will ensure that we take care of our employees in the best possible way.
You mentioned pharma and all the work that you guys are doing with Gen AI as well. This was not a part of my questionnaire or thought process, but just right now popped into my head. Very recently was the third summit of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence in New Delhi, and India was the lead chair in the third season itself, in the third summit itself. And I was talking to doctors. It was a project that I was doing with the government of India, with Digital India Corporation. And I was talking to doctors from AIMS. And they were telling about their project where the doctors at AIMS have incorporated AI and formulated a solution where they are being able to not diagnose, but they're being able to detect breast cancer at the very starting level itself. And the doctors told me that when that kind of detection happens at the starting level itself, chances of cure are way, way greater. And they are doing the detection for breast cancer, and they are evolving more strategies through AI for other cancer detections as well. So that was so phenomenal for me. This is legit use of AI at the ground level for the people, for the society. So how important do you think the usage of AI in the pharma world, in the medical world can be, and the work that ZS is doing behind that?
No, it's very, very impactful. AI can be very, very impactful, and it already is in many ways. So similar to that, we operate in pharma across the life cycle of the drug. So even at a research and development stage, and when you are trying to identify from thousands of molecules, which are the molecules which are going to be the best to consider for a particular cure, I think AI starts getting used right from that level in order to help you narrow down much faster at those fewer molecules. Rather than taking years to do that, it speeds up the process immensely. Be it, you want to do clinical trials, right? You want to select the right patients in order to try your drug. Again, the patient selection, how do you do in a manner that you get the right patients and a good diversity of patients in your cohort in order to do your trials? I think at every stage, there is a use for AI, which will speed up the process and speed up the time to bring a drug to market.
Very fascinating. Looking forward to all the work that is about to happen. Before we let you go, Ritu, one last question that I want to ask you. India is quite literally one of the youngest countries in the world. There are youngsters graduating every year, huge number of them. There are youngsters passing out their masters every year, huge number of them. So, if one has to ask you a message to the Indian youngsters out there who are wanting to build a career for themselves, and the greatest thing about ZS is that you could be from a science, commerce, engineering, or even a marketing background, whatever your background might be, there could be jobs for you at ZS, multiple of them. So, what would be a message for these youngsters looking to create a career for themselves? And a simple question that why would they want to choose ZS and what makes ZS such a standout place to work at for youngsters and for a career growth as well?
No, wonderful question, and thank you. So I would tell both my younger self and all the youngsters there is that when you come in, join, come have curiosity. You all youngsters today have curiosity. They want to do new things. They want to make a difference, and that's what ZS offers you. That you have immense learning experience. There is so much new to do, so much new happening that there will not be a dearth for new things that you want to learn to satiate your curiosity and your learning experiences here. So curiosity, learning, and that's the experiences that ZS has to offer.
Great to hear. And especially when that curiosity level is always up there, I think from personal point of view, I can say that that keeps the job satisfaction right up there as well, which
Yes.
is extremely important, if not more than the financial benefits as well.
Absolutely, absolutely, and more so, I think because we are so client focused, I think when you see the impact that your work has on the clients and on the ground, because our motto is always that whatever analytics and insights you draw, what is the action that the client is going to take with that? And when you think like that and you suggest actions to the clients and you see it being implemented, that is very, very satisfying.
Ritu, with that, we come to an end of our conversation. It was such a delight, such a pleasure talking to you.
Wonderful, and I enjoyed myself too, and thank you.
And to all the viewers out there, especially to the youngsters out there, I would like to tell you that if you're looking for a new career path or a first career path and you've just finished your education, then a ZS associate is something that you can definitely try out. Ritu, thank you so much for giving us your time. It was an absolute pleasure. You guys at ZS are doing some cutting edge work. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you.